Back again with another review, and this is for Johnny Jerry. He wanted me to talk about and review TMNT 2007. And I have seen this before. I don't have the film, but I was able to watch it again. And to me, this to me is a disappointing film. At the time, this film came out, I did not see it in a theater. There was a little bit of excitement there because I'm like, okay, it's been 14 years since we've had a Ninja Turtles movie. But, when I found out that it was CG animated, I'm like, eh. Yeah, so even back then, I was, any little excitement that I had, with this movie just really, deflated with the fact that it was going to be a CG animated film. And again, I have seen this film before. And now the animation's really good. I will say that aspect of the film, I will give, I'll give credit. The animation looks good. So I will say that. But, to me, there's other issues here with this film. But the plot real fast. So the Turtles in this film, they have grown apart as a family. And their sensei, Master Splinter, he's struggling to keep them together and becomes worried that, strange things are happening in the city. And you have this tech industrialist tycoon, Max Winters, voiced by Patrick Stewart. He brings to life these four ancient stone warriors and enlists the help at the foot to, take over the city, and it's up to the Turtles to stop them, and that's kind of the plot here. Now, before I talk about animation and such, the voice cast here. I didn't really care about the voice cast. Maybe if there's one that I thought maybe did okay, Mitchell Whitfield as Donatello, and this is the same guy. That guy that voices Donatello is Ralph Macchio's buddy and My Cousin Vinny. Yeah, that's the same guy. But so you have James Arnold Taylor as Leonardo, the voice. Nolan North as Raphael. Michael Kelly as Michelangelo. You have Casey Jones in the film, and Casey Jones is voiced by Chris Evans. April O'Neil is voiced by Sarah Michelle Gellar. And you have, of course, Mego. This was his last film. I think he died. He had finished the majority of his voice, providing the voice for Splinter, but he died. This was his last movie. But Mego, is a guy that you've seen before in many other. I mean, he was in The Perfect Weapon with Jeff Speakman. He was in Pacific Heights with Michael Keaton. He was one of the tenants. He's been in a lot of films. Conan the Barbarian. So yeah, Mako, great actor, and he's definitely missed. But I think he was able to record the majority of his voice work as Splinter. But this was his last movie. So, and you also have Patrick Stewart again as Max Winters, this tech industrialist tycoon that brings to life these four stone creatures. Zhang Ziyi as Karai. That character's in the film, and you do have some of the Foot Clan, but I mean the voice cast again. Maybe if I had to pick one out of the Turtles, I would say maybe Mitchell Whitfield as Donatello, but I didn't really care a lot for the voice cast here. Chris Evans, I felt he was just being Chris Evans, and I like Chris Evans. But as Casey Jones, I just don't buy it. Buffy as April O'Neil. I like Sarah Michelle Gellar, but it's such a square peg in a round hole in regards to voice casting here. Patrick Stewart, he's here for a check, pretty much. So while you do have a couple of recognizable names here in the cast, but the voice cast in the live-action movies did better. I mean, you had Robbie Rist as Michelangelo, you had Brian Tochi as Leonardo, Josh Payas in the first movie as Raph, Corey Feldman as Donatello, but I felt Adam Carl did a better job in the second film. But even Corey Feldman, as much grief as I give Corey Feldman, he does a better job as Donatello than any of these guys. But it's just me. But the voice cast was very in one ear and out the other for me. And that's the whole film. I mean, the whole film is really in one ear and out the other. And I shouldn't say that about a Ninja Turtles movie. I mean, yeah, the Michael Bay film, that's worse. The one that came out 2014. I mean, in the first 5 minutes, you have Megan Fox jumping up and down on a trampoline. And I'm like, okay, this is a bad sign. This film alone is better than that. But at the same time, it feels like, to me, the love is not there. And I don't know if this director, Kevin Monroe, was the right guy for it. I mean, this is the same guy that would go on to direct Dylan Dog. Yeah, that film that, nobody remembers with Brandon Routh. Yeah, Superman. Yeah, he directed that, and he didn't really direct anything else. And I could be wrong, but yeah, Kevin Monroe didn't really, direct much. And what's interesting is that back in 2000, I believe, in the way early stages, John Woo was talked about directing a Ninja Turtles movie. And I don't know if it would have been, CG animated, but I would have been down for that. Give me a John Woo Ninja Turtles movie all day long. I mean, to me, I think he would have brought a much better vision than Kevin Monroe. But, John Woo went on to do other projects, whether that be Mission Impossible 2 or what have you. But, yeah, I mean, so again, going back to the cast, it really does nothing for me. The story, I don't think, is the most interesting. I mean, here you have a Ninja Turtles film, 14 years after the third one. And it's like, okay, I don't like that it's not live action, it's animation, but the story is not good. The story doesn't really do anything for me. This tycoon, which I don't even think he's a character from the comics, or for like Matt, if he's watching Rambaraf, is Max Winters a character, a villain? Because I don't think so. I mean, to me, he's a very in one ear and out the other character. The subplot with the monsters, him and Max Winters taking over the city, I didn't really care for. I mean, okay, you want to do something different other than Shredder, but there's other villains you can explore. There's other villains you can look at and try for this movie. But you go in the most uninteresting direction in regards to plot. And so, yeah, I don't think the story was interesting at all. The film is short, I will say that. It's about maybe an hour and 25 minutes, so the film goes by, but when I was watching it, I was like looking at those, like, I was watching it, and then sometimes I would look at my phone and go back to the movie, look at my phone, go back to the movie. But that's this film here. I mean, it's background noise. That's the best way to describe this film. It's such a disappointing endeavor. I'm like, okay, the CGI, the animation's really good to look at. It's pretty, but that's not enough to really keep this film afloat. The stuff between Ralph and Leo was good. The little fight on the rooftop, but there's also that double standard in the film of, Leo, in the beginning, he's in the jungle, on his own mission, but you want to come back to home where Ralph is, doing his vigilante persona, Night Watcher at night, and you want to grill him for doing his own thing, for being a vigilante, but you were basically doing the same thing in the jungle. Double standards much, Leo? The pot calling the kettle black? Yeah, that was kind of, I'm like, what? Doesn't make sense. You're doing the same thing in the jungle in the beginning, but, later on you want to grill Raph for it. Leo's a dick. But I will say the fight on the rooftop between him and, Leo and Raph, it was good stuff. But there's not much else than that. There's not much else going on here that really makes the film for me. Okay, the film is short. I can say that. And it says right here a little bit, as revealed in the director's commentary on the DVD, one of the early drafts of the script had Raphael briefly dying and Donatello using Winter's technology to bring him back. this idea was turned down by Peter Laird, who disliked the idea of having one of the turtles dying. I mean, well, it would have, to me, it would have added a little depth to the movie, to one of the characters. God forbid, Peter Laird. But I don't know what else to say about this movie. I mean, it's not the worst film that's ever made. It's a very middle of the road, less than average, disappointing endeavor. I mean, that's what I can say about the film. It's, yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, as far as like any pros, I could say the animation looks fine. It's not bad to look at. I like the animation. It's a short movie. The dynamic between Ralph and Leo, the stuff on the rooftop, okay, I'll give the film that. But I don't really care for the voice cast here. I don't think the villains are interesting, and I don't think the story is interesting. I'd much rather, if you were to ask me whether I'd rather watch the third film or this film, give me the third film, because, I don't like the suits. I don't like this, going back into time to feudal Japan, but to me, there's more meat on the bone there than this movie. And again, I just feel that they dropped the ball here, and that's all I can say about this film. And this is not a rant, but at the same time, it's a deflating film. And I'm like, 14 years after, you made the third film, and I get you didn't want to. And this is kind of, from what I understand, it's a continuation, which is why they didn't go back to Shredder. It's continuing on from the third movie, I guess. But it just does nothing for me. I mean, but yeah, that's kind of it. That's my review of TMNT 2007. I don't know what you feel about the film Johnny Jerry, but I mean, if people out there like it, that's fine. I mean, again, when this came out, IMDb, like back in 2007, people were giving it a 7.2. So look how the film, has dropped to a 6.2. But yeah, so anyways, that's my review of TMNT 2007. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.